Welcome.
How's it going?
Oh, look at that. We got more gimmicks up. We're actually like seeing ourselves over there. This is awesome.
Yeah. The
shout out to Austin.
Shout out to Austin for
King of the studio gimmicks.
Yeah, spending the Christmas weekend or something, putting together more TVs, more bright and shiny.
Well, I love it because it's like Christmas for me, where I said like, hey, what do you think about this? And then, I order a couple of powered splitters or whatever. And then I come in this morning, I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, it's done. Yeah. So when I came in, Austin has basically taken a lot of the TVs that are have been kind of sitting
dormant,
just on the wall, and has split it all out to where now we can see a feed of all the cameras. All the on-air data that we need, the mic levels, everything. It kind of like a lot easier for us.
Yes, and it's way more impressive.
Yeah, and then if you go around the corner here, which you can't see because cameras, where everybody else usually like sits and watches when they're kind of in the waiting or
in like the foyer. It's
like when Brenda's sitting there with Brian and Scott, right? Brenda's always sitting here watching, like trying to watch one of the TVs that's off here, but now she's got one that she can just
it's
like look
everything
right at.
Everywhere all at once.
Like literally, you can see yourself if you look in any direction. Happy in between.
Yes, the lull.
We're in between
lull.
Christmas and New Year's. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, I'm trying to stay busy for the next few days.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
But this is a time when a lot of folks decide, like, hey, I got a few days. We're just gonna stretch Christmas through the next, through New Year's Day.
And in sobriety, I've never been able to do that.
Yeah.
Now, before sobriety, I was absolutely on board with like, let's keep it going. Let's have it be New Year's Eve in April. But now I'm now in love with Claude as it's the current AI du jour.
Yeah.
And so Jason, in his group, the AI in the field, it's like I'm loving watching people that are actually using this stuff and be like, okay, and he'll throw out there like, what's everybody's favorite, or like, are you actually doing it or whatever? And like the current favorite is Otter, Claude, and Gamma. That's my current stack.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I still pay for GPT, but I stopped paying for all the other like bullshit stuff that I had, where I'd be like, oh, I'll try that out, and I'll make one thing, and I'd be like, meh. And then of course they get you on the auto renew the subscription.
Of course you don't see it. Or the problem is like I'll sign up something through like my Apple Pay or something, and then my receipt will be like, you got a receipt from Apple, and I'm like, and it's just like a different price, but it doesn't tell me what it's for. So like I don't know if that's for my like Microsoft Office renewal, if that's for like the little
you got to go down the rabbit hole for subscriptions.
Yeah.
You got to go into the App Store and be like, okay, now I got.
It's like one other layer to cancel. They're just creating like baby inconveniences, like little bitty.
Yes, and hopefully it's under your threshold of pain. It's like, I was only $19.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Like when it's a year, like I've already paid for it for this year. So if I cancel it now, I don't get it. Like that's one of those. If you cancel it now, I stop getting it. I need to remember till like a month before. That was my Matterport. I had to wait till if you cancel your Matterport, you don't like get your Matterport for all those months. You got to wait for that. It's like $800 renewal or $700, whatever the renewal is. At December 22nd was my renewal day.
Like, does anybody use Matterport anymore? Because it was like the coolest thing in 2015. In like 2015, it was like, holy mackerel. They have turned it into a first-person shooter.
You've turned off Matterport completely now? Okay. And you still have cameras?
I still have the original, the OG.
Oh, okay. See, I've got a Pro 2. I don't have the 3.
Oh, okay. So I have the OG Matterport 1. Okay. And then those Theta Vs. Or Theta 5, whatever.
Theta 5,
I think we got a couple of those.
Yeah. Now the Theta 5s will still do Zillow 3D Home and some of the other 3D models.
So like if I have to turn Matterport back on, I'm not doing the $4,000 camera. Because the thing is, like, nobody cares enough about that. Yeah. And the Theta, the Ricoh camera is close enough for government work, because everybody's going to look at it on their phone, so that's the thing. And it's not cost effective to have that giant camera that takes like, pack a lunch. Yeah. It takes forever.
Well, I guess what I found with the Matterport, the value used to be the floor plan. Because it was just really hard to generate a good accurate floor plan.
Yes, it was baked
in. And so you're like, okay, just click, order the floor plan. Yep. It gave you the same feel. If you're first person, it gave you the cool like walk around that you could get with Zillow 3D Home and a lot of other tools. Yeah. There wasn't really anything better there. I fell in love with the dollhouse, the ability to zoom out and spin the house around in 3D space, the actual like architectural.
Right. But now everybody's jaded and they're like, whatever, dude.
And that really only works well if the house is vacant. Right? As soon as you start putting clutter like stuff in the closets and furniture and things, if it's cumbersome, it starts to look
junky.
Yeah, not as clean. A little splotchy.
It doesn't look as roomy as I thought it did.
Yeah. It just doesn't. It doesn't. Vacant houses, like shooting, I think on like new construction to do walkthroughs for folks that are like reloads. I'm coming from California to Texas. I want to look at like a builder's different specs. I want to walk through like the specs they have before I go. There's value there, but I mean, it's getting narrower every day.
Yes, and the property management side. So if you had if you had like 8 or 10 rental properties, well, you do it once.
Or multi-use.
Or multifamily.
Multifamily.
Like you do it once when it's vacant, and then, now you pretty much have it forever. So it's not like
the revenue model for people like us that were doing the service is slowly going down, and the way they're doing some of the licensing and the cost associated for people like us.
They were bought by CoStar?
I don't know.
They were bought by like a commercial.
Yeah, I don't know.
And now in the commercial side, it's brilliant.
Oh, it makes plenty of sense.
For doing a giant building.
Yeah, they've got their own niche. It's just not aligning 100% with what we're doing now. So.
Yep. No longer. And oh my God, it just took too long.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking about you over the weekend because I went down it looks like I'm going to win my fantasy football league.
Oh.
That means that in the last 4 years, I've been in the championship every 4 year, all of the last 4 years. Let's not mention the fact that I finished dead last the 2 years prior. But the last 4 years I've been in the championship game, it looks like I'm going to win my second championship.
Nice.
So the payout is not no money. So I think I'm going to go down and I've been talking with my wife. I think I'm going to go buy a new guitar. I haven't bought a guitar since I was in my early 20s, so it's been almost 20 years. Yeah, have you seen my Taylor?
Yeah.
You won my house. I got the Taylor 420, the CE. I bought that in 2000 and 2006. It would have been 2006. So it would have been 20 years ago.
Okay,
is the last time I bought a guitar. So I think I'm gonna go buy one. Here's the problem: I'm left-handed.
Lefty.
So do you know the place that is the mecca for left-handed?
Southpaw.
Yeah. So I'm going to go down and see, I believe it's Jim, if I remember, at Southpaw, the guy that he's been running that for like 40 years. So I don't know if I'm going to hop on a plane like on a Friday afternoon or like just make a day trip of it, or like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but
dude, that's badass.
I'm going to go down to Southpaw. And it made me think of your old days at like Guitar Center.
Oh my God, yes. And the guitar show every spring, there were times where, whatever, I had a killer month or whatever, a killer quarter in mortgages or whatever. And I'd go there and I'd just walk out with 5 or 6 guitars. Because I currently have 17 total. And
how do you keep them, display them?
They're just all out. It's almost like floor display at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
They're literally just on stands everywhere. And they're all over the place. And the truth is, I can get drawn into the reverb.com world where I have very niche searches, and there are a couple, 2 or 3 that are like grail. There's like a Rickenbacker bass that is, I think it's the 3001 model, that is 3/4 scale. So it's a short scale bass. But
is that better for you? Like my thing's on like a dreadnought body.
Oh yeah, those suck.
Yeah,
or at least for me.
Oh yeah, I'm just not a big
it's
dude.
Like, okay, I got this. If the box is this big, I'm like, okay, this isn't fun.
Yeah,
and the truth is, I've never bought an acoustic guitar.
Oh, okay,
it's like
just never resonated with you.
I had one as a little kid when I started, but the thing was, and this transferred over into even when I sold guitars, Mom and Dad come in for Christmas, and it's like, oh, my son wants a guitar. Like, cool. What does he like? And then on the off chance that the mom and dad actually know what the kid likes, you could try to steer them, but almost no kid likes, oh, I want to play folk music, or I want to Peter, Paul, and Mary, or whatever.
And also it's harder on your fingers.
Oh my God, it's
way
brutal.
Harder on your fingers. And if you're trying to learn an electric, definitely is a lower barrier to entry as far as like the calluses and the bleeding and just the pressure that you have to put on an acoustic guitar.
And the thing is, the parents, mostly don't recognize that it's like, no, they like the feeling of the music because of the way it sounds, not because it's a guitar, not because and the closer you could get the kid to like, okay,
Van Halen type
or like the thing was, I worked at Guitar Center when Nirvana broke, and it was like
grungy.
Holy shit! Yeah. It went from you never heard of these guys, or I'd heard the song, the musicians would know who they were, but then you would always know what was in the magazines that were going to come out this month because if you subscribed, you got it like a week early or whatever.
Okay.
So the thing was, when you're a teenager, you get the magazine early and you go and you know the songs that are about to be. So every Saturday at Guitar Center was like a madhouse. And I can remember like it happened yesterday when Smells Like Teen Spirit. Just, it was like it detonated and was everywhere.
It's like every kid in the store, like,
and everybody jokes about like, oh, Stairway to Heaven. It's like, yeah, that might have been the thing in like 1978, but not in 1993.
Yeah.
In 1993 and 94, it was, you know, you had the old school 80s guys like me. They were just, you know, like everything was just ridiculous, acrobatic. And then you had the teenagers that morphed overnight into
like
Seattle.
grunge rock,
Seattle
grunge rock,
Seattle,
to Portland
Seattle
bands,
grunge,
like that.
Exactly. And the weirdest part was, I understood and still do the emotional context of wanting to play that stuff or whatever. But going back to why I never bought an acoustic guitar is I'm a child of the 80s. I wanted to play shit that made you want to kick holes in the sheetrock. It's like, I'm not really interested in like, you know, like, now the Beatles are probably my favorite band, but I don't want to play them. You know what I mean? Now I do like playing like the Paul McCartney bass lines, but the acoustic stuff, I got no time for that.
I don't know why I started with the acoustic and come to think, I don't really know why. I couldn't like be like, oh, I wanted this or I wanted like, I think it was just what was like available. And that's what I learned on. And then like, it felt maybe like more work or like to be able to pull a guitar out and like get the sound I wanted without being like, where's the amp? Like, you know, like I need a quarter 20 to.
And I do have like a handful of families that I remember that kind of played out my thesis where the mom and dad actually were interested. And it's like, well, he likes Nirvana or he likes Metallica or he likes Black Sabbath. And then be like, okay, let's find you the most cost effective thing for when the kid turns it on and plugs it in, it actually sounds like what he wants it to sound like. Because now you have a force multiplier of your interest level. Because it actually sounds like who he wants to sound like. And then watching those go from like 7th grade to then they come back at high school graduation and they drop $3 or $4 grand because now the kid is a badass. You know, and it's like, whoa, okay, that's cool. And now, of course, I'm sure there were guys that got acoustic guitars and leveled up or whatever. And it's like I saw the same thing at Brook Mays when I worked there. With horns, you know, they come in and get a plastic clarinet or whatever because it's the school thing in the drive and it's a madhouse. And then over the years, now they come in and they get a $3,000 saxophone. You know, but for me, it was I never wanted acoustic guitar or any of that stuff. Just you know, you gravitate towards what for me it was like whatever gave me the goosebumps, and it was always just the most.
So aggro. I think I'm almost 100% sure I'm going to do something electric. I don't, and I'm probably going to go pretty boring. Like I'm probably gonna end up with like a American Strat, like
Nothing
something like that, like just like a standard Fender.
So I'm a
like,
Gibson guy,
or I could do a Gibson, but like I feel like I get I have expensive taste once I get somewhere, and like the scope creep. I'm getting like a nice Gibson Les Paul, and like all of a sudden we're in like
so like I don't know
thousands
what
and thousands and thousands of
like if they even still make a Gibson Studio Les Paul, which would have been essentially all of the exact pieces and parts and bells and whistles of like a Les Paul standard, which would be the standard of the American-made Les Paul. Well, the Studio doesn't have the fancy maple top; it has a solid color. It doesn't have the binding, which is the white stripes around, and like a Les Paul Custom has binding on the top and the bottom. And so like there's a bunch of different things that are fancy and more intricate as far as like the handmade aspect, but they're not necessary. They don't affect anything.
So the Studio's like with the Les Paul without the fluff.
Yeah,
like it doesn't
would be
have
like the Les
little...
Paul without the rims and the you know and the cool lights or whatever and the effects on the trunk. Yeah, and so you would still have the mahogany the mahogany body with the maple cap and the rosewood fretboard. All that stuff is exactly the same, come from the same assembly line, but it would be like
I probably wouldn't know if it wasn't there. I'd be like, well, where's the whatever on the normal Les Paul? I wouldn't know.
And a lot of times it's because, you know, the way they do it is they'll take a piece of like the maple cap, they'll take it and they cut it this way and book match it. So that's why, it's like a mirror image on the real high end stuff. And so like if you've got badass quilted maple or whatever, you want that to show. Well, if you've got a piece of shitty maple, well, it's like we can paint that a solid color. Nobody will know. And so that's what happens. So it's like less cosmetically appealing pieces, but functionally and tonally exactly the same.
Interesting.
And there you become it'd be your ear that will dictate whether ear and feel.
Maybe I feel like I'm at a point where I know what's going to feel comfortable for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a good guitarist by any stretch.
There'll be like several different types. Like for Gibson, I'm like a slim taper neck where it and on Fenders, most of the time, they're all going to be some variation of chunky, like big baseball bat feeling. And then you're going to have the maple neck on the Strat 99% of the time. Whereas the Les Paul is going to be the finished maple, but it's going to have the rosewood fretboard. Okay. And so it's a totally different vibe. And then the other thing is the way that they are at the heel. So if you ever do want to do like the wheelie bits, Strat's much more because the
cutaway.
Yeah, the cutaway and the neck is bolted on. Where the Strat is, it's like a joint and it's glued, so it's a set neck. And so it's just a different animal, just in the way that they're constructed.
Interesting.
So Gibson was always meant to be
I thought there'd be a tension rod. Isn't there a tension rod?
There's a truss rod.
Truss rod. There we go. That's
but Gibson was meant to be like they started out like with mandolins and like really high end stuff and the parlor guitar, like the acoustic guitar that I would kill. Oh my God, I would kill for this guitar. Whatever anniversary it was, 100 years, 150 years or whatever, at Gibson, at Guitar Center, we used to have, it was like the old-timey showcase, like the wooden thing and it's on a rotator. It was a Gibson parlor guitar is what they were called. And so for like in the 19th century or whatever, it would be like women would sit in the parlor and play and sing or whatever. And this guitar, it was like comparative to a dreadnought body, it was tiny. But it was like handmade. It had this curly blonde maple that was just beautiful, and it sounded like it was as big as Texas Stadium, but it was like little. Cool. And it was just kick ass, and it was expensive as shit.
I was just saying, like, was it a one of one type of guitar?
It was probably whatever the anniversary year was. They probably made that many. So if it was like the 83rd anniversary, they made 83.
Nice,
because they would always do shit like that. But I loved that guitar, and it was like I would sneak it out and play it. But oh my God, it was so killer.
Speaking of this, did I tell you about, speaking of like rare, cool instruments, did I tell you about the shoot we did where that piano was in there that was really cool?
No.
So I walk in, it's one of those, we've got 3 on the market. Cruise just did one that's going to be about $12 million. We've got a couple on the market that are going to be in that like $10 to $12 million range. And there's just cool stuff in those places.
Yes.
Right? So we walk in, and there is in the foyer off to the side, like there's this beautiful staircase coming up and this chandelier that's worth more than my house, like hanging over. And it's just beautiful white piano. And I was like, you can tell like this is like a white baby grand piano. And I was like, oh my God, this is a beautiful piano. I kind of walk around it, and I don't, God forbid, touch it, but like, I want to, right? I've got like an old like Roland in my house, like a digital piano. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I can play 4 chords and sound. If you don't know anything about piano, I can sound like I play piano. But so I'm walking around. I was like, this is one of the most beautiful pianos I've ever seen. And she's like, there's a story. This is one of 25. When John Lennon died, Yoko commissioned 25 pianos.
Oh, like in the Imagine footage?
And so it's a white piano, and like it's got some engraved, like you would say I'm a Dreamer's, like engraved in like gold, like on the inside here, and like it is just a beautiful. I've got some video. I took some video. It is a gorgeous. Just think of like you stumble across, you're like, oh my gosh, that's like a. Not only is it a beautiful musical instrument, but it has like cultural significance, right?
And because I was raised like very cool. My mom, I think she was 14 or 15 when the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan. So like she had me young, and so. Right after she graduated high school or whatever, and I grew up with her records. So it was like the records that were in my house would have been that of a teenage girl in the 60s. Yeah. So going all the way back to Elvis, to the Beach Boys, and everything that would have been basically just pop, 60s pop. And it was like, I was hooked immediately. And then I morphed into, Kiss was the gateway drug for me. At 10 years old, Kiss
just the makeup did it for like just like the attitude.
They had a Marvel comic. I'm 10 years old, and it's like they're on the Halloween special with like Paul Lynde or whatever. And or I might even have been younger, but they come out and it's like rock and roll all night, which is not the most intricate thing to play or whatever, but it just, if you're wired that way, it will trip all the circuit breakers. And then the look. And that was back too before, I mean, pre-internet or whatever. You didn't know shit about, like, I never knew what Eddie Van Halen sounded like as a person.
Yeah.
You would just see like these awesome, badass photos of, professional photographers out on the road or whatever in the arenas. Mm-hmm. And then I saw Van Halen when I was 13 mm-hmm. or somewhere in there where, we had to have our parents like chaperone us mm-hmm. or whatever. I was like, forget it, game over. It's mm-hmm. like, I only want to do that. And it's like, if you can do that every night, then I want to do that. Yeah, I was obsessed with all of that for a long time.
I've got to go. There's speaking of like the hairband vibe. I need to go now that Rob Reiner's passed. I need to go watch This Is Spinal Tap again. It's been a while. When's the last time you watched This Is Spinal Tap? Because I was trying to explain it to Kat.
It was within the last few years.
Okay, so I think last time I saw it, like it was like on TV. Like it came on somewhere.
I think I might have
like an old like VH1, like behind like a weird thing. I was trying to explain this because I'm trying to get Kat to watch more movies. And I don't know if this is one that she's gonna love. But yeah, like I just want that's one I haven't seen in probably a decade, and I
was probably 15 when that came out.
Yeah,
so it was like, bam, right in. And the thing is, the songs aren't bad.
Oh no, well. I don't know. Like the Stonehenge songs is pretty.
Oh, I mean, like from the standpoint of
Lick My Love Pump. Or
yeah, when he was playing that classical piece.
Yeah.
But the songs aren't bad from the standpoint of a legitimate song structure that's hilarious.
Yeah,
because that's always tough to pull off. It's like a funny horror movie. Like Shaun of the Dead is one of the gold medal winners as far as with Abbott and Costello being the all-time Hall of Fame champ. Abbott and Costello beat Frankenstein. Yeah. Nothing will ever be better than that. But
I don't think I've seen that.
It's like you take all the OG Universal monsters and they were all still alive, and you put them with Abbott and Costello. Okay. And in today's world, it's just you look back and you go like, oh, that's a total cash grab.
Okay,
but
it's like bring the Marvel universe together.
Yes,
with the
exactly.
DC.
But it works because the monsters are played serious, and then Abbott and Costello are Abbott and Costello. And then when you put the chocolate and the peanut butter together, you're like, oh, Reese's cups are badass.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, of course, like Shaun of the Dead is the pinnacle of the current day version of funny and scary or funny and gory or whatever. But all of that stuff is just imprinted on my brain. So when I saw Spinal Tap the first time, it was like, dude, they nail the whole like heavy metal vibe. And now you could look back at it and go like, wow, it really was like that. And at 15, I'm thinking like, these guys are just, icons of my youth.
This is persona, but then like it also did like their insecurities.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
and they're just so ridiculous.
And
it's another movie that I have not watched in a while that is that, but updated is Walk Hard.
Oh, yeah.
With John C. Reilly.
Yeah. Doing the Johnny Cash.
And I would go one better there, where the John C. Reilly movie is smarter in its approach, where it goes so niche, where he just happens, he's like the Forrest Gump of 20th century musical history. And it's not just the heavy metal thing, and it's not just the funny bits about the drummer exploding or whatever. But the John C. Reilly movie just kills me. And the songs are really good because he can actually sing. Okay. And the songs are like really good, and they also riff on, because like there's the one part where he's like, he's got a giraffe and he goes, I just wanted a giraffe and a house made out of candy. And he just says like all these weird improv things, because that's the thing that just kills me. And I'm going to watch that over the weekend.
John C. Reilly's good. My wife loves Step Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
So she's got a shirt that says, Did You Touch My Drum Set? She loves that particular scene.
Yes.
So, and I to be honest, I think I watched Walk Hard when it first came out, but
it's a long movie. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I'm gonna have to go back to it because, John C. Reilly and like Will Ferrell and like they came up. They had a run, right?
Yeah, there was like a 3 to 5
make a bunch
year,
of funny stuff.
You had like the Talladega Nights. You had Step Brothers, and it's like I'm very reluctant to watch the basically Saturday Night Live skit movies,
right?
Because they usually suck. It's like you have the Blues Brothers or whatever that kind of set
Night
the
at the Roxbury.
Yeah, the Blues Brothers kind of like sets the standard. It's the gold standard, and then everything else became a gimmick.
Yeah, Wayne's World.
Yes.
Wayne's World's good.
Yeah.
As far as like one of those, I was thinking SNL spinoffs. How many of those are there? How many can you name that are SNL spinoffs?
There's a shitload.
Blues Brothers. Wayne's World. We'll just give one.
Night at the Roxbury.
Night at the Roxbury.
Coneheads.
Coneheads Superstar, which was like the
the girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's
We're just out of ideas. We're just out of stuff. We're like, just yank something out of like old comedy and we'll turn it into a show.
And it was like if something got to be a catchphrase or something funny on the show, then they immediately, just put a rocket on it and try to launch it. And some of them are good. Like you're right, Wayne's World would have been probably the second coming of the well done skit.
Yeah.
Taken to a theatrical. But I would say that probably has more to do with Mike Myers.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably Dana Carvey and Mike Myers being who they were at the time.
Because even there was so much inside baseball.
Speaking of old SNL, what was really sad? Over Christmas time, I don't remember exactly what day I was at home, but I was watching, I kind of split screen now, YouTube TV like splits my screen, so I've got like football on, and I've got like the 4 thing, my cat hates it, but I'm like, whatever, dude, when it's on commercial, I'm always like getting a new, like whatever's on is what I'm focused on, and so I'm watching, I thought it was football, but down in the corner, Saturday Night Live is on, and I'm like, oh, Saturday Night Live, turns out they're not playing any new stuff. They're only playing, and I could tell because the bars are on the side. It's built for the old CRTs.
Yeah, 4-3 or whatever. Yeah.
And they're playing like old Eddie Murphy stuff. It's all Christmas stuff.
Okay, so they're
throwbacks because they're just out of stuff. They're just out of it.
Oh,
they're
yeah, absolutely.
Let's play the hits, man.
And they watered everything down where like, oh my God, Norm Macdonald with O.J. Simpson, the whole time that was going on. I mean, he got fired because he would say shit on live TV that was just, they don't do that anymore. Yeah. They can't do that anymore.
Norm Macdonald's a one of one.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. Like one of the, just the way I'd laugh thinking about his delivery on some stuff.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's just completely, I can't handle watered down shit. Anybody that knows me, like behind the curtain, this is not me.
Yeah.
And it's like if words hurt your feelings or whatever, okay. Yeah. You're gonna have a tough go. It's gonna be tough sledding because you can't nerf the world, And I understand on broadcast TV, but like, come on, we're all over 18 here.
Yeah.
But I watched the Eddie Murphy documentary. I think it was a Netflix show. Because I'd never actually seen it. It's very recent, like maybe the last couple months. Okay. And it's like I'd never actually seen him talk about being Eddie Murphy. I think it might even be called Being Eddie Murphy. Or Being Eddie.
Okay.
And it's badass. And I forgot how much he was just imprinted on the 80s and how 80s young
comedy,
he was.
80s yeah. From like Trading Places to Beverly Hills Cop and like all the SNL stuff.
When he was on Saturday Night Live.
He was really young. Yeah.
And then he never went like full Elvis or Michael Jackson, where just out in orbit. A lot of people around him did.
Yeah.
But Beverly Hills Cop and Trading Places and all that.
I was trying to think like all that. Like it's Comedy Central used to play. I mean, there's a 50-50 chance of like when Comedy Central was playing their old 80s movies, like Eddie Murphy was in it in some. Transplants and Automobiles. Was that no? No, what am I was thinking Trading Places. That's Steve Martin, John Candy, right?
Yes.
God, I want to go back and watch a lot of those movies.
Now I got my whole playlist.
Those are good movies.
And now one that I watched, and it actually had an effect on me over Christmas because I was just furious at the loan situation.
Okay.
Scrooged.
Oh, yeah. We actually watched that the other day with Bill Murray.
Yes.
Yeah, Bill Murray's coming to Dallas, I think, in a few months to do some sort of stand-up type thing. I don't know if Bill Murray does stand-up or he just kind of like sits and talks.
Or something?
Yeah, just sit and tell stories.
I'd be down with that.
I'd go see that. Yeah. I came up on my, watch Bill, because I look at a lot of plays and stuff. We bought Wicked tickets and stuff like that. So I'm like in the algorithm of
the feed's going to feed you.
Well, we bought, what's his name? Jimmy Carr? The British guy. And then we didn't go.
Wow, okay. I would have thought he's incredibly offensive.
Oh, he really is.
For anybody with, sensitive ears or whatever.
Oh, he is. But I love his take on it. And I think he's very thoughtful and introspective. I mean, he's shock on the front end, and then he kind of comes in and he's like, okay, I've actually put some thought.
I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, so we did that, and we totally missed the concert, or the performance. Me and my wife were sitting at home, and we're like, wasn't tonight that concert that we were supposed to go to, or the concert, the comedy show we were supposed to go to? So now I'm in the algorithm, so they're sending me all that stuff. So Bill Maher.
Oh my God, Murray. I have not been to a live stand-up. This would have been wife number 2. Went and saw Eddie Izzard at the Majestic.
Nice. I thought I saw Louis C.K. Big. I saw Cat Williams and Louis C.K. in the past 5 or 6, 10, let's say 5 or 6, probably 10 years.
Yeah, Louis C.K. hadn't been.
It hasn't been around in a while. And then, a month or so ago, Kat and I went to the Comedy Cellar in New York, like that famous underground,
absolutely,
and saw like their midnight show thing, and I've never done that. Like that was just a very cool vibe.
Years ago, some guys that I knew in recovery, one of them had a show. They had a weekend show on 105.3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And but he was a local comic, and one of the other co-hosts was a local comic, and we would give away tickets to the Improv every week. And so I saw, this would have probably been 2005, 6, 7. I saw so much shit at the Improv that it was, because I just put myself on the guest list.
The Dallas Addison.
Cool. I would just put myself on the guest list too every week.
Yeah, 10 free tickets. I get that email from what's the one at Mockingbird Station? It's like, it might be the Improv. It might be the Dallas Improv.
That's a good question.
Or like the Comedy Factory, or what used to, it's been called a couple things. But it's right there at Mockingbird Station. I get the email for like 10 free tickets, 2 drink minimum type of thing.
Yeah. And so like I saw a ton of comics there. Cool. I always loved it because I was always drawn, like George Carlin is my spirit animal as far as like the closest thing that would, like a famous person that would be like, oh,
Yeah.
And I figured it out one time. George Carlin had an HBO special every year or every other year from the time I was 12 until I was 35.
Oh, wow.
Or 32.
A lot of content, George Carlin.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, with VHS, I would record them and just watch them religiously. Yeah. And so like, it would be like if you hear those stories where like some military exercise and the camel is born and it imprints on a Jeep. It would have been like that. That was that for me. It was like George Carlin's second HBO special. Forget about it. I'm dialed in. That's my hive mind.
Yeah, I have my guilty, like dirty, kind of crass comic that's like also introspective. Doug Stanhope. Do you know who Doug is?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, like his no refunds.
So the reason I love him is he would be the me before sobriety, unrepentant and still drinking.
Yeah, he just didn't care. And it's smoking on stage.
Yes,
he'll get drunk.
Drinking, and
excuse me, got a thing in my throat. I need a drink. Anyway, Doug Stanhope was like the man.
and the fact that he would just go and do.
Is he still alive? If he's still alive, that is like a testament.
And I want to say he's in.
Maybe alcohol doesn't mess up your liver as much as they think.
Or Bisbee. Where I saw something
Bisbee, Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah. He talks about like the people coming across the. I watch these people coming across the border, and he's like, they're not taking your job. They don't have shoes half the time. Like
yes, and it's like I just loved that sort of disaffected alcoholic kind of vibe, and the fact that he's just like bitingly sarcastic.
Oh yeah,
and no apologies, unrepentant, totally. Which
it's awesome. It's awesome. Oh my gosh, look at
that,
this,
dude.
He sees me like choking on my own spit.
Look at that.
Thank you, Austin. That's a first. Production specialist and studio assistant.
Let's get a little Be Local in here.
Oh, Be Local, yeah. One of these days we'll talk.
Dude, this was probably my favorite one that we've.
This is fun. Just riffing.
And the way that
we can still do that.
Where you went off on the guitar thing, and I was like, man. Now I'm thinking like, oh, what do I want?
Well, I'm gonna have to call you when I get to Southpaw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you do a video of all of these because it's just never. It doesn't matter how many music stores you walk into, how many people you talk to. You can only touch 1 or 2, maybe 3 guitars at an entire Guitar Center or Brook Mays or anything like that I could play. And so just it's sad when you walk in. You
lack of options.
Yeah, and you can't handle any of the stuff. You're like, I can't buy that. I got to go buy it in like a different color. And guitars are so unique, right?
True story for me. Like the Les Paul that I have now, it's kick-ass. It's the Les Paul 1960 classic, slim taper, gold bullion. I don't know. I bought it in probably like 2008, let's say, or whatever. It was like $4,000 back then, or 3,500, something like that. Well, I go in, and it was like particularly good month in mortgage, and I go in to get a Les Paul because damn it, the one of my regrets in my life is I lost in my pre-sobriety years. I lost the 1988 Les Paul Standard that I had that looked exactly like Jimmy Page's.
Lost it like where the hell did it go, or lost had to pawn it?
Yeah, lost it like had to pawn it for because certain habits took precedent.
Both would be acceptable. Like I had
a Gibson Flying V that got stolen. And then I had a Les Paul. I had many guitars that I lost for, let's just say, less than market value.
Okay.
And I went in to get another Les Paul, and I probably played every one that was in, within line of sight. And none of them did anything. They didn't talk to me, or whatever. And I'm walking out, and I notice that, if you're in the Guitar Center, there's the guitar desk, and there's going to be the bottom row. And unless you look around and actually go like, oh, well, I noticed the headstock, and I noticed the truss rod cover, and I'm like, hey, dude, let me check that out. And the dude hands it to me, he gives it to me like Excalibur or whatever over the counter. I do this, and I'm like, yeah, that one. I never even plugged it in.
Really?
Yeah.
What was different about
just the feel? It's like I said, the slim taper neck, and it's like I already know what they're going to sound like because each of the pickup configurations are going to have just a certain tone. And I was looking for the PAFs, which is the patent applied for is the name, but the original. So like on the Fender, the reason that people like Fenders, they have the single coil pickups, and they're just one magnet with wire wound around. And what happens is somebody at the Gibson factory, I think, I don't remember correctly, but I'm filling in gaps where if you put two of them together, they're out of phase with each other. And the humbucker means it's actually literally bucking the hum. Because
I didn't understand that because I've got a Raven West, which is like a California guitar you never know, but it's beautiful. And it's like I got to bring it in here so you can see it. Yes, it is, and it's got a floating bridge and a dual humbucker. But I understood like that's a dual humbucker.
Yeah,
like
and
setup.
the idea is you put the two pickups together out of phase, and it cancels because the hum is actually 60 cycle hum, which is just the 120 or whatever that's running, or 110 or whatever it is through the wall. That's what it's picking up, and the Fenders are going to have a much. Depending on who you talk to, they're going to have, it's more treble is what it amounts to. And it's going to be a thinner sound. And now that's why it has the 5-way switch, because then you start getting into monkeying with the 3 pickups in different ways. And then you'll have all the way down is all the way down. Middle is middle. All the way up is all the way up. And the easiest way to tell is like all the way down, it sounds super bright. Like you took the treble and just cranked it and took everything else out. And then if you put it all the way up, now that's the neck pickup. And the closer you get to the neck, the more
bassy.
I would say more rounded and more low end it's going to have. Because closer you are to the bridge, the more treble you're going to have. Closer you are to the neck, the more bass you're going to have. It's going to be a more rounded sound. And then you have the guys that are like, like the Stevie Ray Vaughans of the world, where it's literally guitar, wah pedal, Ibanez tube screamer, amp. Or you have the guys like Slash, where a lot of times it's just Les Paul into custom Marshall. And it's like, bing! You either have it or you don't. And but I'm a Gibson guy because I like that kind of punchier, kind of more aggressive sound. But now you can go in and you can like monkey around with the stuff. So when I felt of it, that was all I cared about. Because it's like, it's not like a keyboard where it's a mass produced instrument. They're all going to sound. Now, a weighted keyboard, maybe, a piano for sure. But like synthesizers, they're all exactly the same. But no two guitars are the same. And it's one of those weird things where, God almighty, working at Guitar Center for all those years, it's like, I don't know how many guitars we unboxed, but every once in a while, one would come out and you're like, whoa.
This is a special one.
Like one of the ones that I regret losing was the American Standard 40th anniversary Strat that I had. It was Midnight Wine was the color. It was only made during that anniversary. I'm sure they make it now, like nobody's business. But back then, Ibanez are like the hot rods. They'd be like the Corvette, where the neck is super thin. And so like the Steve Vai's and Joe Satriani's, where they're just playing a million miles an hour. It's like no resistance. It would be like having, the wind tunnel with no resistance. And that's what they're made for. Well, one of the Strat came out, I unboxed it, and I was like, whoa. It felt like an Ibanez with a Fender body. And I immediately put it on layaway. It was just like one of those where it was like, I miss there's some of that stuff that I miss, just that kind of like music store vibe or whatever, the guitar nerd thing.
Are you willing, like, this is mine, like cream of the crop, set that one aside.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. The more I talk, because I get with my Be Local thing now, I get to talk to a lot more people, right? I'm learning how much I don't know about everything. Like just sitting here, like talking, like you just described, like you made a lot of like callbacks to like Slash or Stevie Ray Vaughan, or like the way like dual humbucker, like all new to me, like literally new information. And I feel like every conversation I have these days is that.
When I have like 3 guys, and I'm like, I hope they don't see this because they'll like bust my balls. Yeah, like, dude, that wasn't that.
I intentionally tried to try to talk a level above where my understanding, right?
Yeah.
Because once you start getting close to that,
it's like a catch weight.
It gets a little fuzzy, and I can get over my head, and like my want to educate will sometimes supersede my knowledge, right?
Yes.
And all of a sudden I start talking out my ass,
and then,
right?
And then too, like if you're doing like a callback to stuff that at one point in time you were just immersed in it, you know, like you were just marinated in it, whatever, morning, noon, and night, and then it's like, okay, well, how much of that wing have I walked through in the last 10 years? And it's like not a whole lot, but I still I love the Gibson channel on YouTube. It's like you sit me down and like you go like, oh, hey, Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick is going to walk the Gibson guys through his collection. And it's like,
okay,
you just
locked
look
in.
because Cheap Trick, you know, kind of a 70s, 80s kind of, not cliche, but, you know, a old kind of like pop rock top 40 thing or whatever. But Rick Nielsen was always known for just the wild ass guitars that he would have made. So he has like a 5-neck Hamer, and he has one guitar that is a double neck, but it's a him in a caricature, and just like just a bunch of cool shit. But he was also an insane collector behind the curtain. And so he's opening up these things where like the esoteric arcane bits and pieces of what you're looking at, it's like, holy shit. And it's in mint condition where you pop that thing up and you're like, you can get $2 million for that. No, like just no problem.
Yeah.
And then another dude, if you want to go down the guitar rabbit hole, is Joe Bonamassa.
Joe Bonamassa. That's fun to say. Bonamassa.
Yes. He is a kick-ass blues guitar player. Just like by any quantifiable metric. But he also happened to grow up with his dad as a guitar dealer. So that dude, like, he could have corrected me on everything I just said that ever related to Fender or the origination of humbuckers or any of that stuff. And he could tell you like what the pickup covers were on a 58 Les Paul and like how many were cream and how many, you know, all of that stuff. And his collection is ridiculous. And then the dude can play anything, you know what I mean? Because like Rick Nielsen's like kind of a one-trick pony as far as, but like to have a dude that can play anything under the sun and move in and out of different, like go from Hendrix to like Stevie Ray Vaughan to and he's a Fender guy, so it's like you get those guys too where it's like, oh, he's a Fender guy or he's a Gibson guy, and like I was just always a Gibson guy really because of Ace Frehley, Joe Perry, and Jimmy Page, and all three of them were Les Paul guys. And then it's like, now never mind the fact that Les Pauls weigh a metric ton and they will throw your back out. But
I don't have a horse in any of this, so I'm going to go sit down. I'm going to play them all, and I'm probably going to be giving you a call.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, I want to see them. I want to see, because it's like the one thing I loved about the guitar shows were when everybody brought out their best stuff. You know, and we're like, because on like the years that I went for Brook Mays where I worked there, Friday was the inside baseball day. You know, the unwashed masses or whatever come on Saturday and Sunday. Friday was vendor day, and you would have all these, you know, international guys just walking around, and so everybody brought all their best shit. So Friday morning, it was like going through the Smithsonian, but you get to pick stuff. Oh, it's like, oh, look, a dinosaur bone, and you get to pick it up,
bone,
and you get to pick it up and like, you know, hold it or whatever, or, plug it in, and it was just like a whole nother world.
Yeah,
and then you have like the lefty thing where I never even thought about that. Where like, wow,
it's a whole nother world. Well, I mean, what I'm surprised we haven't made like a Jimi Hendrix, like who else? What are some big?
Well, Hendrix, you know, his thing was playing with his strung upside down.
Yeah,
you know,
he took it right-handed, strung it up. Well, yeah,
which then affects the tonality.
Once you get high on the fretboard, you lose because the way the bridge is. But this is my understanding.
Yeah,
like the way the bridge is actually angled a little bit, and so like it's actually, as you get higher, it gets out of. Then get up to half a step off.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's like you listen to the Jimi Hendrix stuff live. Usually, when the song starts, spot on. And then by the time he's, you know, like 3 tabs of blotter acid in and like just improvising all through the middle, it's like, whoa. But it's awesome. But then when he comes back to the part you're supposed to recognize, and then there's cool stuff like if you see where I'm guesstimating, it's the week that Sgt. Pepper comes out. and I think it's Monterey Pop, where he's in the middle of Purple Haze or one of the songs that, you know, everybody would recognize. And he literally goes into the refrain that closes the album, Sgt. Pepper. And everybody in the audience is like,
lose their mind.
Yeah,
right?
it just came out like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
He's already throwing it in at the end of the song. And it was like that, where like, you know, that dude's just channeling shit from another realm, you know? And then you have the guys like Jimmy Page that in the studio were like, just like wizards, you know, but then live, notoriously sloppy it would be the dig on it, where everything in studio, where you have infinite, you know, amounts of time, it's just perfection, and it's like crazy tunings and stuff just all layered that you would never, as a teenager, never be able to figure out correctly, you know? And then you realize like, oh my God, you know, you go through and there are guys out there that go down the rabbit hole and it's like, oh, there's 13 guitar tracks on Kashmir or whatever. And then, well, what's he doing on when the levee breaks?
See, I have a problem with like at that point, I want you to be able to play some semblance of your music live.
Right.
And when you do,
and that's
13.
why, yeah, and then that's why you would have certain songs Zeppelin never played live.
Yeah.
And then you'd have certain ones that they played every time, like Rock and Roll or Communication Breakdown or whatever. And then as it got more drug fueled and esoteric, the records got more complicated. You know, same with the Beatles when they quit touring or whatever. Now it's like, oh, we can just get high and do Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
is like respect.
Yeah. Norwegian Wood, whatever weird
No, that's an acoustic guitar song I love.
Is that, no, they use the boing, 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 boing.
There's a sitar in there. There's a sitar line in there. Yeah.
I think there's also like some sort of
but it's a John Lennon song, so it's written on acoustic. Because like you can tell, oh, that's a Paul song or that's a John song, and then of course George and Ringo are separated by virtue of George's stuff takes all that Eastern flair. You know, like in the beginning he's doing like Chuck Berry covers, or he's doing like Carl Perkins covers, and then John and Paul would write a song for Ringo to sing, and that's usually how it worked. And then I think George would get one song per album whenever like they proved that he could, and it starts having that sort of like, and you can start to tell which one's which. It'd be like the Gospels, where it's like, oh, that's a John song.
Oh, that's a Mark song.
Yeah,
that's very Luke.
Yeah, that's very Luke.
Very Luke of you.
Yes,
it's very Matthew of you. So the prophecy may be fulfilled.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh no, dude, I love it. Like, see there, we went
all the way around.
Yes.
Yeah, ramblings of two madmen here.
Yes, exactly.
So to talk a little bit about Be Locals, because this is supposed to be a Be Local podcast.
Yes, well, we're setting the table for you and Ashley.
Yeah, so sometime early next year, which is just
like Friday
around the corner. Yeah, but I can say that sometimes early next year in those first couple weeks, Ashley Gentry and I believe will be
you'll take over
this.
Yeah,
and we'll put some more structure,
put
around
effort
it.
into it. Yes,
and so, like, I'm glad. I appreciate like all the reps for the past couple months coming in here and like and
we
doing
to kind of
this.
get like a little bit of visibility, and a little bit of brand equity going.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm fascinated anytime that, especially somebody in my world pivots, because it was like I did the thing where I went from like, hey, weren't you a mortgage guy last Thursday? It's like, well, yes, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I was. And I still want to do like, I mean, my relationships in the last 10 years are paying dividends here. I just want to focus in a way where I feel like I'm more engaged in the community and helping and part of something where we're really pulling in the right direction. And I want that to be more visible, and I want to celebrate people that are good in the community. I want to go champion the folks that are doing stuff right.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
and you get to bring them in front of the camera.
Hopefully, that's the goal is to put
well, and there's an element of you kind of woodshed and you kind of build your skill set and everything behind the camera. This has been my experience, where you're building your skill set behind the camera and you're doing the networking thing that's kind of ancillary to that. Speaking of, hey, shout out to Mortgage Mark.
Hey, Mark Goretzky, how you doing, buddy?
Yes, he is coming in for the save, as my other loan is shitting the bed.
So Mark did my loan for my house, and as you know, like small business owner, multiple like irons in the fire at all times. Like, he is fantastic. I cannot recommend Mark enough.
Absolutely. Tanner and I are live at the moment, but I will send you.
Yeah, we're talking about you, Mark.
Yes, and so you're getting a shout out right now on Facebook Live. But I will send that when we're off air. I'm going to send him the appraisal.
Nice. Yeah. Mark did like diving catch after diving catch for our loan, and like did it all without panicking, which it's not my personality. Like
my fear is manifest. It's like literally dark side of the force. My fear is always manifested in rage and fury, and there's never any calm aspect to it.
So you kind of need, like, I needed that like even keel dude in this transaction, and he with between like him and Ashley and like the other people that brought
that was my day after Christmas experience.
What?
The Ashley and so like just to pull the curtain back. Okay. Lots of stuff right on the horizon, and in order to get runway for that, I was doing the cash out and not throwing anybody under the bus or whatever. Didn't go as let's just say what was on the label didn't match what was in the can.
Okay.
Thus far.
Okay.
And
have you scrapped that whole thing? New direction?
It's parallel.
Okay.
But you know, Mark has already been, you know, just the Sir Galahad like riding in. And it was Friday where I'm like, okay, this is dead, and I've spent Christmas just furious. And it was like, so I have a text group that is, by any quantifiable metric, influential real estate folk. And I was like, hey, anybody got any ideas to brainstorm on revenue streams, whatever. Refi is not going as planned, and I am trying not to, you know, I don't know, kill somebody or whatever. And they all come back with like a bunch of kick-ass ideas, and it's like the lift you up kind of thing or whatever. And then I get more news later in the day, and I text Ashley because she is wired exactly like me. And I text her and I said like, hey, if you feel like killing someone later, or you need help burying a body, or just want to commit acts of random violence, I'm free. I'm free. I'm free after 5. You know,
free for some vigilante.
Vigilante justice or just random, you know, vandalism. And she calls me like 5 minutes later, and what was normally just a vent situation or whatever turns into like Ashley goes into action, and it turns into, and when we're getting off the phone, I'm like, okay, I was not looking to be, you know, lifted up, poured into, or like whatever thing you want to call it or whatever, but I'm like, wow, best pep talk ever. And the next thing, you know, I'm Mark and I are talking Saturday, and it was like, I've been in this window of, in the process, and anybody who's going through the loan process, you can't have money and shit looking funny or moving weird. And I had massive amounts of runway on my credit cards because, you know, in order to have the score up, you
paid it all off and
close all that out. Well, then in order to keep the liquid steady, it became put everything on the credit card with the idea of, oh, we were going to close before New Year's. And it's like, now that's not happening. And so I said to Mark, I was like, because I was a loan guy. I was like, hey, dude, I'm still in the window where my FICO hasn't taken it in the shorts yet. And I was like, what if we pull credit today? And it's like, okay, cool. And here I am telling everybody in the universe or whatever. But it's like, yeah, cool. And then so he texts me, Mac, and goes, upload. And I already had all my docs and everything, so I upload everything. And it was literally like, okay, FICO's good to go. And it's not like my credit score is going to be 500, but it's going to go from like high 700s to probably low 700s, you know, just depending on how harshly they grade. Because the mortgage FICO is different than the, you know, whatever Equifax app.
It's a whole nother thing that's way over my head.
Yeah, and it's just it's a scam. Let's put it that way.
It sounds, there's there's somebody went on a huge rant on that about the privatization of like credit and like how or credit scores.
Yes, and then don't even get me started on like Sally Mae and the student loan scam.
Sally Mae sounds like a nice hillbilly girl that. Oh, really? She's like a cutthroat group of people in reality, Kansas.
She's like a Somali pirate. It's like literally jumping over the
Somali pirate.
I'm the captain now.
It's an old David Sedaris joke he does that he talks about like his student loans and Sally Mae, and he's like, yeah, sounds like a nice, kind hillbilly girl. But in fact,
that dude was hilarious.
Yeah, David Sedaris.
Yeah. Because didn't he have a segment on NPR at one point in time?
Yeah, he did. Gosh, I don't remember what that was called. So I got it from like an ex-girlfriend years and years ago. She loved it. We went to a signing in Austin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When he did Dress Your Family in Corduroy and Denim. It's a good book that he has.
Because I want to say he had a blog and then we turned into books.
He's always a writer. Wrote God, When You're Engulfed in Flames. What's his first one is escaping me for some reason.
God, I haven't thought about this in the days of MySpace.
Yeah, and we were listening to on the drive. My wife was like, "What do you want to listen to?" We were driving down. We did the tour around Texas for Christmas.
Yes,
and I was like, I want to hear like somebody talk. And I was like, have you ever listened to David Sedaris' Holidays on Ice? And so there's a short book that is a collection of Christmas-ish stories where David Sedaris works for an entire season at the Macy's New York Times Square.
Oh, right on.
As an elf in Santa land.
Yeah.
And so it's probably an hour read that he reads. It's called the Santaland Diaries, and if you haven't, it's really better if David reads it.
Yes,
then
because you get the inflection, you get
because he's talking because of his conversational style of his
the dude's
of the
hilarious.
books. Yeah, very very good. Anyway. Are we going to wrap? What time? Oh, man.
We've almost gone for an hour. There's nobody there's nobody's paying attention to this.
Well, at least it takes us the fact we can say whatever we want.
Yeah, I apologize to Mark for your shout out coming at the ass end of all of this.
Yeah, we can clip it and we'll bring it back. But we did say something.
We'll carve that out.
Oh, well, this was fun.
Hell yeah.
I mean, next Monday is going to be after. What's next Monday?
Like the 3rd?
The 3rd, okay.
The 4th?
We'll be 2026 next Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Happy New Year,
down
everybody.
For the year.
All right. Take care.